And I'm like, how is Grogu a boppet?
Should we start?
Probably.
Okay. Here we go. Hi guys, I'm Jessica. This is Brittany, and you are watching Pixie Dust Productions. Today we are going to talk about the 2007 film Ratatouille.
Yeah, and Ratatouille is really interesting because it's like 3 overlapping stories in one. First, we have Remy, who is a rat with an advanced sense of smell. He saves his mischief from rat poison, and he's appointed the official sniffer. But that's not his dream. He dreams of being a big chef, and he idolizes Chef Gusto. He has an overwhelming desire for flavor combinations, and this leads him to a dangerous hobby of kitchen borrowing. His kitchen borrowing leads to his mischief's home being discovered, and they are forced to evacuate quickly and without a real plan. And through this, he is clinging to Chef Gusto's cookbook, and this causes him to be separated from his family. At this point, everything is fallen apart. He's alone and probably scared, and then he undergoes what seems to be a psychotic break because he's traumatized. And now he's having hallucinations that he's receiving guidance from Gusto in the cookbook. Meanwhile, we also have Alfredo. He's a simple guy with a simple life with minimal extravagances. He loses his mother, and her dying wish is that she deliver a letter to Gusto's restaurant to secure his finances. So he's thinking, oh, cool, she's gotten in for a job for me there. So he brings this letter to Gusto's, and Gusto's has passed away, and he gives this letter to the new head chef, who doesn't really want to take a chance on him, but he ends up being the trash boy. And in a surprising twist of events, he's launched to the top of the kitchen. Remy and Alfredo come together in an unlikely friendship, while the third story, a nefarious plot to hide life-changing secrets, unfolds behind the scenes.
That sounded so much crazier than it actually is when you watch it.
And that's what it was, though.
When you say it, though, it sounds crazy.
I had never seen this movie before, and I watched it in preparation for this episode, and I was really bored and unengaged, and I wrote down like 2 things, and I had absolutely nothing to say. So then I watched it a second time, and I like super paid attention, and I was like, oh, if you're really paying close attention, this is a great movie. But you can't watch it casually.
Okay, so I had only seen this once before. My kids have watched it since then because they really like it, but I never sit down and watch it with them because the first time I watched it, I felt like it was cute, but I had no desire to see it again. And then when I watched it again for this episode, I think it's grown on me a bit. It's still not anywhere near my favorite Pixar film. But it's cute. I like it.
Yeah, it's not my favorite one, but it's definitely, the second time I watched it was significantly more enjoyable than the first time.
So maybe we just need to keep watching it.
Maybe.
And it'll get better each time.
It could.
I really liked the quote, "If you are what you eat, I only want to eat the good stuff."
Because I really liked the line where Remy is, talking to his imaginary Gusto, and he finds out this like piece of information that's like, whoa, and he's like, why didn't you tell me? And Gusto's like, I'm a figment of your imagination. If you did not know, how could I? And I was dying. I was like, okay, so we're acknowledging this here. Also, when Alfredo's talking to the food critic named Ego, which I love that he has to defeat his ego through this. That was masterful. Thank you. And the critic goes, "You're slow for someone in the fast lane," and Alfredo's like, "You're thin for someone who likes food." And then he goes on to ask him, "Is that a food shortage or an abundance of snobbery?" And I was dying.
The scene in the beginning when the rats are falling from the ceiling of that lady's house, that is my worst nightmare. That even animated freaks me out I do not like that at all.
That old lady reminded me of both Elmer Fudd and the witch from Brave at the same time. But and one thing that super surprised me is when they were running away, and or I don't remember if it was all of them or if it was just Remy at this point. But anyway, there's running, and it's like through the ceiling rafters at one point, and there's like this crazy domestic dispute going on downstairs in one of the apartments he's running past, and this couple's fighting, and then and the gun goes off, and I'm like, this is crazy.
And he comes back, and aren't they like making out or something?
I think so, yeah.
The scene where he's interviewing with the press and everything, and Colette pulls him away, and she says, "We hate to be rude, but we're French." I laughed so hard when she said that.
That's amazing. And I loved when she was telling him about everybody in the kitchen, and then she gets to the sous chef, and like, he's been to prison, and I want that backstory, please.
Yeah,
I need
isn't
that.
it? There's like all these different theories, but nobody knows what one's true, right?
Yeah, because he gives a different answer every time, but I really want to know. I really want to know. Oh, and do you remember in the last episode of The Incredibles how we talked about how drinking is less like vulgarly done?
Oh yeah.
There's less drunkenness is how we phrased it. And then the head chef in this movie gets Alfredo totally sloshed to extract information from him. But the only thing he manages to talk about is rat patootie.
Rat. It sounds like rat and patootie. Rat patootie. Oh my God. Now that we're like discussing it again, I'm like, maybe I was too harsh on this film. It is really cute and funny.
It is really funny. And I thought that the critic, that ego guy, looked like the dad from Hotel Transylvania.
Oh, Dracula.
Yeah, that's what he reminded me of.
Yes, actually, I need to rewatch it. I don't know what room it is. Maybe the room he's playing piano, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think the ceiling is in the shape of a casket, if I remember correctly. Like, I noticed that, and I was like, I thought the same thing. I'm like, he's
New
very
headcanon
like,
unlocked.
vampire-ish. What?
New headcanon unlocked.
Yeah, he's a vampire. I guess garlic isn't an ingredient in Ratatouille.
Must not be.
Which I've never heard of that food before this movie. I don't know if you have, but now I want to try it.
Yeah, I looked it up and it's interesting.
I did not look it up.
So do you remember when Remy first arrives at the kitchen and he's like running through trying to hide and like stay safe because he accidentally fell in? That scene reminded me almost exactly of that same type of scene in the 1990 movie The Witches.
I thought you were going to say the scene from The Little Mermaid where Sebastian is like avoiding the shadow.
You're right. I didn't even realize that. Oh my gosh. You're totally right.
No original ideas. Everyone just keeps doing the same thing.
Yep.
Okay, well, it's time to place the sorting hat on.
I just noticed that I did not sort anyone for this.
You didn't?
I don't know how I skipped that, but I just went to the next page and I don't have a sorting page.
Don't sort the same person as me.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Okay, so the person who I ended up sorting was Gusto, and because he has a love for food and he is all inclusive and accepting of others, the whole anyone can cook thing, and he's very kind, I think he is a Hufflepuff.
Awesome, I agree. And I sorted Paulette. I felt like she was very focused.
Wait, isn't her name Colette?
Oh, is it?
Let me look it up.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, it's Colette.
Oh, I just must have heard it wrong when I was writing it down.
I show you.
I trust you. All right, I sorted Colette, and I think that she is very focused on her art, and she knows so much about her specific thing that she's a Ravenclaw.
Okay, I could go with that.
Cool. So we came across a couple of morals through this movie. The first one comes from Chef Gusto himself, and that is if you focus on what you've left behind, you'll never be able to see what lies ahead. Ego also teaches us that everyone can't be a great artist, but a great artist can come from anyone. And Colette teaches us that false modesty is just another way to lie.
Rotten Tomatoes reported a 96% approval rating. In its opening weekend in North America, Ratatouille opened in 3,940 theaters and debuted at #1 with $47 million, the lowest Pixar opening since A Bug's Life.
Wow.
However, in France, where the film is set, the film broke the record for the biggest debut for an animated film and dethroned Titanic for the most consecutive weeks at the top of the box office.
Whoa.
Ratatouille won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature at the 80th Academy Awards.
So yeah, I have a rule when it comes to dinner, and I think this applies to this movie about food too. And my policy is that you have to try everything twice. One, to find out what you're getting yourself into, and the second, to actually determine if you like it. The first time I had to see what I was getting into. The second time I actually liked it. And with that, I give it 4 kernels, and I rank it also at #4 below Monsters, Inc. and above The Incredibles.
Cool. I also gave this movie, okay, so this isn't what I wrote, but I'm changing it. I think that Austin will appreciate because it was going to have a half. So.
Oh no.
It was going to be 3.5, but I think I'm going to give it 4. Like, this, just discussing it has made me like it more. Okay. So I also gave this movie 4 popcorn kernels. I placed it last place on my list, though, under A Bug's Life. But that's like not bad because every other Pixar movie has had 5 popcorn kernels from me. So I love Pixar.
And with that, we will see where we end up with our next Pixar film when we watch 2008's Wall-E. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Stay fresh, cheese bags. Let's move to Jupiter. That's my dream. I think I drive people away.
I don't think you're annoying.
I couldn't bond with you over that. Why is it so hot? I guess that's why we don't wear pirate outfits. We're so boring. The Easter Bunny is creepy. He's Mr. Incredible.
What the fuck is white cheese called?